Working with iPads is definitely an engaging way to work, but unless we change the way we learn, we're not really achieving anything. Using an iPad allows us to work in new ways that were previously not possible, and we need to take advantage of this. We must leverage this engagement and use it to our benefit. Here's an example. We might be looking at medieval castles and their defence systems. We might look at the battlements, the portcullis and the moats and the drawbridge, for example, and talk about them in a class discussion and show some photos of how they were used. Using some apps on the iPad, we can actually then have the kids design their own 3D castle, put the moat where they want, put the drawbridge how they want it, put the battlements where they want it, and kind of design and justify their own castle defence system. The students come away with a much deeper level of understanding because they've taken an active role in the learning. With the iPads, it's very easy to assign different tasks to different students depending on what they need. Because there is no best way to learn anything, we differentiate. This allows us to provide different ways of learning for our different students. When using these devices, students can take as little or as much time as they need to absorb any new information. The teacher can now, instead of just delivering content, devote more time to the development of individual students. Let's look at some of the tools we have available to us on iPads. Students are no longer constrained by the limitations of working with paper. They can write, insert photographs of movies, annotate, record, duplicate, they can append, or even emojify, and share this work. Students can seek instant feedback from themselves, peers, and teachers. They can collaborate in class, within groups, across year levels, or even with external communities. A great example of this is during flipped classroom style activities. In a flipped classroom, students will learn new information themselves rather than have it given to them by the teacher. They can work through it at their own pace and then work with the teacher to develop and clarify understandings. When working this way, the teacher has more one-on-one time with the students. Here's an example of some effective personal feedback. Students are able to critique their own reading and are genuinely excited when they have success in reading aloud.
Never seen so many of them in one place.
When students hear their own voice, they become their own teacher and naturally want to improve and do it better next time. So the students will end up with evidence of where they started and where they finished. And this is great for tracking and demonstrating development. Here's an example of what we can do with an app called Explain Everything. We could go in and take a photo of a book, for example, by inserting an image. I'll just use one here that is straight from the camera. So we can take a photo of that, and then what we can actually do is crop that to use the exact section of the text that we want. So you'll see here I'll use a crop tool to select the corners. Then I'll hit apply, and I'll have a section of text there that I could add into any document that I'm working on. Think of this like a digital scrapbook. I could then use the tools that I have, such as a pen or a highlighter, to write on top of that text. In this instance, I'll use a highlighter and draw on some of the text here. This is great if the students are reading, because what they can do are highlight parts of the text that may be spoken words so that they know to read them as if they are a particular character. They could highlight the text in different colours to suit different needs. They might use a green to show excitement, or a red to show that there is some sadness involved. As mentioned before, the power of having students listen to their own reading is amazing. Sora is our ebook library app that allows students to borrow new books for free. Over the last few years, we have consistently been the best borrowers in the state. The Gowan campus is currently on track to have borrowed over 50,000 books in 2020. The Sora app allows you to search for a book specifically, or look through different defined categories to find something of interest, and after borrowing, you can even read books without an internet connection. Check out my other video on guided access, where I show you how to lock down an iPad so that it can only be used for reading and nothing else. Using this, you can be confident in the fact that that's all your child can do with their iPad when you've set it up that way. Correct use of technology does not replace teachers. It simply gives us a few more tools in our classroom, and that ultimately means better outcomes for our students.